Good evening, everybody. What's up? This is Max 611, aka Mark A. Cunningham. This is In the Paint, the realest show in sports. I want to thank everybody who supports the show by sharing, liking, watching, viewing, dropping a comment. We're the realest show in sports. It's Friday. My brother won't be with us tonight. Probably. He said he won't be with us. So I got my other brother. What's up, Dom? How you doing tonight?
Good evening, Max. Can you
What's
hear me?
going on? Yeah, I can hear you. It's been a minute. Lots been going on in the sports world. A lot of craziness, a lot of weirdness. So we're gonna get into the weirdness and the craziness right now. Brooklyn Nets, and we're gonna talk about. We got a couple of things to talk about them tonight. But we're gonna start off with the Brooklyn Nets suspend Kyrie Irving. What are your thoughts?
I'll say this, Mark, without getting too. It took everybody too long to do something.
Right.
Like 7 days between the NBA, the Nets, Kyrie, and nobody in the NBA says nothing. No player, you haven't heard no player speak up like they did against the Phoenix Suns owner and every other thing that goes on. Not one player has chimed in on this.
Right.
But a week to come up with a decision is unacceptable on the NBA's part, the NBA and the Nets. That's a week wasted. He could have did his 5-day suspension already. Or do it. Yeah. So
right.
They dropped that ball.
Right. I'm gonna say this. I said, and you've borne witness to the many things I've said about Kyrie and what would happen with the Nets and how it would be. I said if he came and just played ball, him and Durant, it would work. But he hasn't done that. And he's made a spectacle of himself. The Nets are a dumpster fire. They're radioactive. He's radioactive. Once again, I don't like being proven wrong, right in this situation, but once again, I've been proven right. And it's just he's a really good ball player, but the outside stuff, you bring negative attention to yourself. The tweet or whatever he posted to that book, that movie, nobody made a stink about it because it's sitting on Amazon Prime. It's sitting, as a book and as a movie. So where's the heat for Jeff Bezos? Whatever the dude's name is that owns Amazon.
Bezos.
Yeah.
Whatever his name is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because to them, it's a business, Mark. I mean, don't get me wrong. You're right. You are absolutely correct. But to them, it's a business. To the NBA, them and their moral standards.
Right.
Then again, they come and go too. Let's not get that twisted. Their moral fiber is kind of depending on where you're standing that day. Hey. But yeah,
right.
I mean, I just don't like this, Mark. That every time something happens, we say, well, you remember when, and you remember when, and that means it'll never stop. Just like I said, Mark, I started it 7 days ago. He could have apologized. The Nets could have made a decision. The NBA could have had their talk with him. Up until now, on day 8. And Adam Silva is still talking about, I want to talk next week. So you're talking like 15, 16 days after this happened. You're finally going to sit down and say something? No, come on, man. Like I said, I think quite a few of us have said it. He has not done many good things since he's been the commissioner. So, all on his sword.
Right. I think Kyrie I don't think he's a bad person. I think he's being misled. He gets a lot of misinformation. He doesn't think out what he's putting out to the public. It's not well thought. You following Alex Jones? Come on, Kyrie.
But
it's hard to defend him, and we got people, especially that are defending him. I mean, they're defending him like crazy. I can't defend him for this. We got David in the queue. I'm gonna bring him in.
What's up, fellas?
Hey,
What's up? What's up? Were you in the projects? I see bricks behind you.
Yeah, just a brick wall.
How you doing, David?
Pretty good. Just been battling upper respiratory infection, but
similar.
Pretty good.
Me too.
Yeah, for a while.
So if I wheeze and cough.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's funny you mentioned that. I was telling my wife, I said I feel like I'm coming down with a cold. And my flu shot.
It's that type. It's that season because the weather is constantly changing. It doesn't know if it wants to stay in the 70s.
Right.
It's rainy.
Right.
But, welcome, David. Me and Dom were talking about the Brooklyn Nets, and we got a few things to cover. With the Brooklyn Nets, and we started with Kyrie Irving. What are your thoughts on the Nets suspending him?
I don't like it, to be honest with you. And this is not to condone or support Kyrie. I just think it sets a bad precedent. I feel that it was very reactionary. I feel that it is the Nets responding to the backlash as opposed to it really being how the Nets management and ownership feels. Right. I think that had this not come out or been publicized, I don't think that the Nets would have had any issue with it. I just feel like they are catering to a particular demographic without even, I don't know if they fully understand what this is all about. They're just responding to what other people are saying.
Right.
So, Kyrie, I've been critical of Kyrie throughout, many occasions on our broadcasts in the past, or comments that he makes, and I do agree that he has a foot and mouth disease, and he feels like he is the smartest person and makes the dumbest choices. So Kyrie, it's not about Kyrie for me.
Right.
It's about the whole issue with the so-called anti-Semitic. I haven't seen the film.
Me either.
I don't intend to see it.
I probably won't.
Yeah, just not really interested. But it opens up some issues that have long preceded Kyrie. And it's interesting that it's a Brooklyn thing because, Brooklyn has had a long-standing history of battles between the Black and Jewish community. And I'm not making this about a battle, but I am noticing some of the same patterns, historical patterns, that we dealt with in the mid to late 80s, early 90s here in New York City. And a lot of it stemmed out of what was happening in Brooklyn, Crown Heights to be specific.
Right.
But the only thing I'll say about what Dave said is this is where we're at now. If you say something, here comes the cancel culture. Here comes the 2 cents, and here comes, we want Dave to suffer today. Not 7 days from now. We want Dave to suffer today. Whether you say it about religion, gender, color, you're labeled something. So everybody's got to react. You're right, Dave. I don't know about the book. Don't plan on reading it. Mark told me it was on Amazon, on Amazon Prime.
Book and movie.
Book and movie, yeah.
Amazon Prime, I'll never watch it. But again, we can't keep making excuses for me. Before you came on, Dave, me and Mark was we some of us do realize this happened 7 days ago, and nothing was done. All you heard was a lot of chitter chatter, a lot of noise. Nothing was done. The Nets could have sat down with Kyrie. Kyrie could have apologized. The NBA could have sat down with Kyrie. But what happened? Nobody did shit for 7-8 days. And now all of a sudden we're going to go full blown and suspend the guy for 5 days without pay. After you let it go for like a week and a half, a week and 2 days now, almost.
Right. And he did issue an apology.
It wasn't good enough.
For who? Because
that's
because
if
if you read what he said, he apologized. He just didn't say the Jewish word, but he apologized to them. If
right,
if my reading comprehension is correct.
But that's what surprised me about it is his initial statement. I felt that while he didn't directly say I apologize to the Jewish community, he distanced himself, I thought, from any ideas that he was expressing anti-Semitic, thoughts. That wasn't good enough because Dom, historically, anything short of a kissing of the ass of Jews has been deemed unacceptable or not good enough. Right. And so the fact is that when this first came out and the backlash first hit, I think they were hoping that Kyrie would instantly say, you know what, no, I'm sorry, I didn't mean this, or whatever. However he could apologize. So I think that it's been 7 days since this move. 7 days preceding this move, but I think that the inner workings behind the scenes, they were hoping that they could avoid getting it to this point. Kyrie is stubborn. And I'm not saying that as a fault. That is a personality trait of his. And so I don't think that Kyrie felt that, what am I apologizing for? First of all, Kyrie didn't write the book or make the movie. It existed before Kyrie knew about it. He learned about it and he shared it in a tweet.
And he said nothing else.
Right. And he said nothing else. So the idea that Kyrie is somehow anti-Semitic because he shared this, did anybody ask him and say, listen, there are some troubling, and I use that in quotes, there are some troubling things in this film.
Did they also view the movie or read the book before they could make that statement?
To be honest with you, I don't think a lot of people did.
No.
I just think that I'm just listen. I'm nobody to be canceled, so I don't know. Nobody's going to cancel.
I'm gonna cancel you because you keep coming at me.
But okay. Well, then, that would be deserving. But in this instance, I will say that historically, anti-Semitic, the use of the term anti-Semitic has been a weapon. It's been weaponized, and so if I said that I didn't like the hat or the curly locks on a Jewish person, and you're anti-Semitic, now you've got to apologize. You can't have an opinion. You can't be critical of anything Jewish in
Right,
this
and you
country and
can't
people in this
debate
city.
history.
Right, right. So if you challenge anything that is Jewish, then there is a danger that someone is going to say, you know what? Not only don't I like what you said, but I think it's hate speech. You know, if Max said to me, I don't like your hat, okay, I may be offended by that, but that's not hate speech.
Right,
That's his opinion on it. But we've crossed that line where you can't. There. It's almost like, well, it's not almost. It is. They are untouchable. And if you call it out, then the response is anti-Semitic, and then nobody wants that label, and so people run away, and they apologize for, in some cases, telling the truth.
right, right. I did not know that Mr. Research TV and yourself, Dave, y'all just let me know. He said it's been out since 2018.
Yeah.
And I thank you, Mr. Research TV, for joining us. And thank you for your, giving me that, because I didn't know that. I thought it was something made recently.
Yeah, no, I read. Yeah, 2018, and it's still on Amazon, as far as I know.
What is the
Right.
name? Anybody even know the name of it?
It's
I don't.
it's Hebrews to Negroes or something like that,
Yes.
which has been a
Wake up,
long
wake up,
time.
wake up, black people, I
Yeah,
believe.
yeah, yeah. I think it's in the
On
colon.
Amazon Prime.
Yeah, the film is on Amazon Prime. You had to pay to view it, but yeah.
I know one thing: their views and their money is going up
Oh,
because of
absolutely,
this negative
absolutely,
or
right.
perceived negative media
Yeah, you would
presentation.
think that if they were really offended and wanted to cancel something, they would want to shut down and have that removed from Amazon. And if Amazon didn't
Right,
agree to that, then they would have some protests
God.
and boycotts.
right,
Yeah.
right.
It
And
ain't.
also whoever directed it, whoever
Yeah,
produced it, if it was produced by a production company. But hey, people, we live in a microwave society. So as soon as you say something, it's
Right.
yeah,
Like whether it's this or that. Like, what was it? Not that long ago, they made up for it, but they took the All-Star game away from Charlotte
right.
because a lot of people didn't believe in the transgender bathroom. Remember, it was the bathroom issue,
Yeah,
guys.
right, right.
We was talking about a bathroom, and the NBA jumped in, took the All-Star game away from Charlotte
Mm-hmm.
because the NBA didn't like that. Somebody said, you know what, a girl's bathroom is for a girl, and a boy's bathroom is for a boy. I mean,
Right, right.
and piss somebody off again, like you said, Mark. This microwave society. And they tried to make it right. They ended up having it a couple of years ago. I think they had it here in Charlotte.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you say one thing that Dave don't like, and Dave got a bad bit of power. This movie has gained more traction in the last 7 days than it has in the last 4 years.
That's right. I've never heard of it, and probably would never have heard of it.
Yeah.
and this is just my thing, guys. There might be some truth in some of the things that Kyrie has said, but at what cost, Kyrie? Because now you are in your contract year. They just suspended you 5 games without pay. You lost. Nike distanced itself from you way before this. They did that a couple of months ago. They cut you off in terms of they're not promoting your sneaker anymore, and you're not partners in a brand with them anymore. So somebody today on Facebook, they said to me, I said, what's his plan? So, burn Nike down. I'm like to myself, Nike is not going anywhere, homie.
No.
I got a coworker who flips Jordans, Dunks, and other Nikes. Nike ain't going nowhere, bro.
Mm-mm.
If the plan was to to out yourself out of $200 million because that's what you stood to make on the next contract if you were extended for 4 years or 5 years. What's your plan? Are we building anything? I mean, Dikembe Mutombo, and prayers to him because he's going through cancer, brain surgery. He took his money and he built a hospital in his country.
Right.
Kyrie, what are you doing with your money? Are you building anything? Are you working with a bank? Or are you just mad and you just saying what you're saying?
He has the Kanye disease.
Yes.
And Nike just totally parted ways with him like 10 minutes ago. Totally.
Yeah.
Bye-bye, so long, farewell. Nike has parted ways with Kyrie Irving.
Because they don't need Kyrie. They never did need Kyrie.
Yeah. That's a given, yeah.
Yeah. So Kyrie, he's frustrating. I think that he is an intelligent young man. He's a thinker. But I also think that he doesn't think sometimes it puts the brain cells on the shelf and he just says, well, I'm just going to do. And then doesn't understand why he gets himself in all this trouble. We all know that just because you can doesn't mean you should. Now, that goes with a lot of things that he says. I just have an issue with the fact that this is something that was out in the public, even though not many of us knew about it. He shared it, which we often do. We'll come across something, we share it. Sometimes we share it not because we agree, but we just want to see how other people think about it. I've shared things on social media, don't necessarily agree with it. I may totally disagree with it, but I want to see, people that I respect. Well, see, what do you guys think about that? Maybe it's something that I'm not seeing. We do this, but in this case, he's being punished for it, and I don't see what he did that was anti-Semitic.
Right. And then he made another apology. Bishop I'm gonna bring Bishop in, fellas. Bishop is here.
He was holding off till the Knick game went off.
I know.
Yeah. Y'all.
Good evening, my brothers.
What's up?
Hey, what's up, Bishop?
All right.
So, Bishop, we are discussing the Brooklyn Nets, and we're going to go through a couple of phases with them. We started with the most, Brooklyn Nets suspend Kyrie Irving. What are your thoughts?
Well, and I kind of knew that. I mean, the beating drum, the theme throughout all of the talk shows with all of sports pundits, everybody is calling for some type of action, some type of punishment for Kyrie because he's, showing that he's first he's persona non grata. He isn't being contrite. He isn't conforming to the way that we want him to think or speak. And it didn't help that he poured gasoline onto the fire. That didn't help. And it's kind of like everybody keeps saying, well, I understand he didn't do anything, but do anything particularly wrong. But you got to understand just certain things you don't get involved in. Just certain things you don't get involved in. It's like, it's just common sense. It's like if I'm on so we have the Facebook thing, right? Then we also have our separate group. Right. I don't make certain comments that I make in the group chat that I don't make those on Facebook.
So, but you know what I'm gonna do, Bishop?
No, you're not.
I'm a Kanye you like Kanye did to Diddy and other people. I'm gonna start this is what the Bishop be saying about y'all.
Well, I mean, sometimes my phone get hacked.
Oh, I see.
Sometimes my phone gets hacked, so you can't rely so much on what you see because it's not maybe like an accurate portrayal of what I'm saying, and then you also have to take it in context. So it's just common sense, dude. It doesn't matter if you agree with every single point of that documentary. Why do I need to know about it? Why does anybody need to know about it? You understand what I'm saying? It's just certain things that you don't do. It's like, Dave, if you work in a school, right? And you are ardent NRA member, you support gun ownership, and you post pictures of yourself with 2 9s talking about Dave got that heat. You understand what I'm saying? Dave holding that heat, and you got 2 guns and you post it online. Guess what's going to happen? You understand what I'm saying? It's just certain things you don't get involved in. I don't need to know what your opinion is regarding this documentary. I don't need to know. Like, to me, it's like grown men like gossiping. When you're
But
posting this type of stuff online, it's like you gossiping. Like, why do I need to know that? Why do millions of people need to know how you feel about something? Like, why do you need that validation? You're a multimillionaire. Why do you need my validation for something that you agree with or something that you believe in?
right.
Yeah, I hear you, Bishop, and I get the analogies that you made, and I do feel that we are a society of oversharing. Um, I I also feel like I don't see, and I'll be honest with you, I'm not really sure as to what's in this film, but I just don't see what Kyrie did beyond the sharing. Now,
So
sure, you should distance yourself and you shouldn't get involved in certain things, but is that a suspendable offense? Is that something that he now needs to apologize to Jewish people because he looked at a film and
no.
posted
So
it online?
so
Film.
one of the things that you have to understand is like, so 2 things. I haven't seen the documentary, but from what I read about it, um, number one, Alex Jones is somebody who's pushing this documentary. You know who Alex Jones is?
Yeah, I know
All right,
100%
so
about
you're
Jones.
associating yourself with that clown. Number two, um, the Black Israelites. This is something I believe that they're in as well. Like, this portion of this
Yes,
documentary that references Black Israelites, and
right.
you know what they represent when they speak on anybody that is not Black and Jewish. You know how they
Understand it.
speak.
Yeah, I
So
know how they
again,
speak.
these are 2 hot button issues that you really should not be associating your name with. And what they did was, they said they wrote the narrative.
Right.
You posted this, so what this means is you're supporting it and you're promoting it. They didn't ask him what his opinion was. They created the narrative, and then it was his job to disprove the narrative that they created.
But I thought he did. I
No,
thought he when he initially responded, I thought that he expressed how he felt and that he was not didn't have any anti-Semitic feelings. Um, I thought he did that.
no, that
Well,
was the hope. That was the
the
hope
interview,
that he did that.
interview he did yesterday, Dave. He kept
Mm-hmm.
avoiding that. He kept using words like I, me. You can't tell me because I'm black and what I've been through and my people. He avoided just simply saying, "No, I'm not." But as to Mark's point, the Instagram post that's after he got suspended. Then he came out with the "No, I'm not this, I'm not that." He had ample time yesterday in that interview where he turned into Kyrie again. That stubborn, I know everything.
Yeah, that's Kyrie. I don't think that you could punitive, be punitive about that.
Oh, I agree with that, Dave, because like I said, let me ask y'all a question. Not to steal Mark's job, but who's more Who's more guilty of the pushing this? ESPN or the Jewish community?
ESPN, NBA TV,
Yeah.
all of the sports
Nets.
pundits, all of the sports pundits. This was something that was
The
on
owner of the
every
Nets.
single show at all times. Everybody was pushing this. He needs to be suspended. He needs to be brought down a notch. He needs to be shown who the boss is. He needs to be put in his place. This is the message that they were sending. So this is one of the things that when we have to be really, really careful when we basically consort and go with the mob, because
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't about the anti-Semitism or whatever, because at a certain point it started becoming about what everybody else's agenda was. Because if you look at, I'm not a Kyrie fan, don't get me wrong, I'm not a Kyrie fan. I could care less about the novellas other than the drama that they create.
Which
But
makes you happy, right?
absolutely,
It's great
absolutely,
TV.
absolutely. I got a whole box of popcorn. I just sit there because something's gonna happen, and it's not even over because KD hasn't even been activated yet, so it's
Right.
not over.
He has been activated.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm talking about like
No.
Oh, you
the
mean
level-
bringing his drama?
Yeah.
yes, to
right,
the level.
right.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
hasn't even been activated yet. But don't think that he ain't sitting back and looking at all the attention Kyrie's getting and
Yeah.
saying, I need to get some of this attention too. So
His burners are charging right now.
exactly.
He just made 100 more accounts
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
if you
on all
look at it,
platforms.
if you look at it, the guy that was initially asking him the questions, it's like you have to go back and look at what was his motivation. What was his motivation? Because
Right.
if your motivation was to determine whether or not Kyrie was anti-Semitic, then you could have asked those questions and not made it about you challenging Kyrie to get your
Mhm.
name out there. To get your name out there. And
Mhm.
what Kyrie did was he walked right down the pathway that the dude led him to
Yes.
in order to
I
he
agree.
walked right down that pitfall. And my thing is, okay, if the guy asks you the question, the simple response is the things that I do in this community for all people. I'm insulted. I'm insulted that you would ask me a question
Mhm.
like that, because Kyrie, believe it or not, is
He does a lot.
he does a lot.
He's
He
very
is
active.
he's very active in the community. He puts his money where his mouth is, and it's not just for one group. He puts his money where his mouth is, and he's pretty, what I would say, a dude that says what he that in his actions. His actions
Right.
speak volumes.
Yeah.
And this is not something that has recently. This is something that throughout his career he's done. So he could have leaned back on that. He could have threw that in the picture. He could have threw that in the mix. But instead, he decided to go down the rabbit hole of this is like when if you married or you got a girlfriend or whatever and you have an argument, and instead of accepting the responsibility, you deflect.
Yeah.
And when you deflect, you only make matters worse. Well, I know I did this, but what about what you did?
Right.
I know, I know I disrespected you and I violated you. But in 2002, Dave, you ate all of the Rice Krispies. You understand what I'm saying? So that's why I did what I did, because in 2002 you did this. And it's
Right.
like it only makes matters worse.
So, do you think that, let's say it was a different Nets player, not Kyrie, what would the conversations be right now?
It wouldn't be a conversation because they wouldn't have posted it. And I think the reason why he got suspended,
Let's go with Dave. Let's try Dave's hypothetical. Let's say they posted it, Bishop. I think that's what Dave means.
Right.
But I'm saying who on that team would have been
Hypothetically, Bishop.
hypothetically
Hypothetically,
nobody would care.
right?
Nobody would care. If that
Because
nobody would
they
care.
want to get rid of Kyrie anyway. Because
He's-
what I heard, I don't know how true it is, but what I'm hearing is that it's 5 days, but it's kind of
longer.
open. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they actually have the right to extend it, and
Minimum.
people at this point are minimal, right? And people at this point are saying that he's played his last day.
Yeah, well, they said that about Udoka too. So It's like, again, I don't believe anything until I see it. And
Yeah.
again, you can say whatever you want to say, but at the end of the day, money talks and the BS walks. So this dude is shooting 45% from the field, 40-something% from 3-point range, 90% from the free throw line,
Averaging almost 30 points.
Yeah.
averaging 30 points a night. Guess what? Somebody gonna be like, yo, we gonna take that chance.
Well,
we
that's
can deal
what,
with him.
what I'm saying is the Nets are done with him.
Nah,
As maybe they should.
Yeah.
That's what I'm hearing. Kyrie is. I'm not saying that this is Kyrie's last time on the court. I'm
Right.
saying in a Brooklyn Nets uniform.
Why?
That's what.
Why?
Well, I don't know. This is what people are speculating.
They
Well,
throwing it out there.
well, let's look at what's transpired basketball wise. They didn't give him an extension.
Right. Let's
Well, the
remember
reason-
they tried to move him during the offseason, but they had rotations.
Right.
So
Remember?
you know who's the primary blame for all of this? It ain't
Yeah.
Steve Nash. It ain't Kyrie.
No.
It's the GM.
Yep.
The GM was the one last season who decided to get on this soapbox and join all of the political pundits and join this social culture war, this vaccine war, and decide that Kyrie wouldn't be with the team because he didn't want to get vaccinated. Not something that you should have got involved in. He was feeling himself. He was getting pats on the back from all the sports pundits and all. Oh, well, if he don't want to get the vaccine, then he can't be with the team. It's like he made that decision, not Kyrie.
Right.
The GM made that decision. And then you had to walk it back because it's like, well, we stand the risk of losing KD if we don't bring him some help in. And it's like,
Right.
when all was said and done, from the very beginning, only thing you had to do was pay the $2,000 fine for the first like 3 or 4 games, and then it went up to $3,000, and the max was $5,000 a game.
Yeah.
Nobody would even care about that if the Nets won 3 or 4 games in a row. Only thing people would be talking about is, yo, the Nets is really good. They really good. You know what I'm saying? They're doing their thing. Nobody would care about the Nets paying a fine or anything like that. So it's the GM that started this whole thing rolling, and Kyrie he played right into their hands once again. So I don't know who he has in his corner, who is advising him, but it's kind of like, dude, there's so many different ways that you can play this, that you can, how they put in the spotlight on you, that you can turn it around and put the spotlight back on them. Because again, when that dude started asking them all of those questions, now you questioning my integrity. My actions speak for themselves. You understand what I'm saying? Then if he continues to persist, then it's like, well, what is your agenda? Because it's obviously not, your agenda is obviously not to find out if I'm anti-Semitic or not. Your agenda is something else. And that part of it, I'm not going to get involved in. Next question.
Yep.
And keep it moving.
Yep. We got our brother Holla. Your mic is live, bro. How you doing?
I'm good. How y'all doing?
We
What's
good.
up?
We
What's
good.
up?
We are talking about the Brooklyn Nets and their suspension of Kyrie Irving. What are your thoughts, Holla?
You really want to know that?
Yeah, I want to know.
Oh, Lord. This is a sports show, so I don't know if...
Hey, this the realest show in sports, so we go in every different nook, cranny, lane, politics.
We've transcended sports here. We broke that barrier a long time ago.
Well, the best way I can put it is, to the victor goes the spoils.
Right.
And I know, you know me. This is just between me and you. You know, you've known me all your life.
Right.
And we've been involved in this culture conscious nonsense for over 30 years. And my position is simple. If you're in a bad relationship, you got 2 options. You can stay there and try to work it out, or you can leave.
Mm-hmm. Now,
what do black folks want to do? Black folks,
work it out.
What do we want to do?
We want
Stay and work it out.
Okay, so then you get what you get. Stop fucking complaining about the fact, oh, Kyrie Irving guys, so who gives a shit? This is their shit. This is stuff you want to deal with. You don't want any other alternative. So then you just deal with what you got.
Right.
What I'm getting tired of is the complaining. I'm getting tired of the pseudo cultural, black stuff that nobody fucking believes in anyway. Just lay down your sword. Lay down your sword. Do like they do in Game of Thrones. Bend the knee. And submit to the people that you obviously feel should be your masters. Because you don't want to do anything on your own. You don't want to establish anything on your own. You want to stay here in this system and try to fight for equality. Well, good luck. Good luck with that. Stop fucking complaining is my problem. I'm tired of hearing it. I am outraged out. I'm sorry. I don't have no time for the fucking black outrage. It is false. It's pretentious. It's not real. It's disingenuous. Because if you was really that outraged, then you would do something about it.
Yeah, but who's upset? I mean, it's an HR issue. It's a Brooklyn Nets HR issue. They made an agreement with this dude for him to come out and make the statements that they agreed that he would make. He didn't do it, and so they suspended him. That's what the basis is. It's not like because he posted that. They spoke to the Anti-Defamation League. They spoke to Kyrie. They spoke to whatever other organizations, and they all agreed that we were going to come out with this joint statement. Everybody would give everybody a hand job, pat each other on the back, and we would go on our merry way.
There it goes.
When it was time for him to shine, he basically decided to do something else. He decided to improvise. And at the end of the day, it's like you still had to come back and apologize, but you just made yourself look even more like a jackass because you could have done that from the beginning and kept it pushing.
What did Daenerys Stormborn say, Mark?
What was that, Holla?
What did Daenerys Stormborn say in Game of Thrones?
I don't watch Game of Thrones, so I wouldn't know.
Bend the knee.
Bend the knee? Hey, I got something for you, Holla. Folks in our community, they get happy when guys get big contracts, right, guys?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Don't impact me.
Right. But I'm just saying that's the consensus. They get happy when somebody gets a big contract, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now Kyrie came up with this situation, and now they're like, see, they just showing him how they gonna do him, and he on master's plantation.
There it goes. Of all the things that upset me, that right there is what upsets me. I'm tired of the full outrage. I'm tired of you see, if he was a white man, I'm getting tired of that nonsense. Just bend the knee, nigga.
Well, if it was
bend
somebody,
the knee.
But I'm saying if it was somebody that they wouldn't be in this position, because this is a unique position where this is a self-inflicted wound. It's a self-inflicted wound. You can't blame anybody else. You allowed them to create a narrative based on something that you posted. You allowed them to create a narrative instead of first of all, you shouldn't have, like I said, you shouldn't have put it online. You shouldn't have posted it. It could have been, you could have felt like it was the greatest piece of film, the greatest documentary that you've ever seen in your life. But because of the subject matter, you wouldn't post that online. It's not something that you should be posting online, especially with your position and with your platform. It just doesn't make sense. Just doesn't make sense. Like, again, I'm not in the limelight. I'm not famous. I'm nobody's particularly important like that. But it's just general. Like, I wouldn't go online and post things that are just like sexist, that are racial, that are it just violates who I am. You know what I'm saying? I could feel a certain way about something, but I wouldn't why do I need validation from everybody in the public about how I feel? I don't need that validation. And that's, again, what I said earlier. Him posting that is like, you need validation about how you feel from the people on Instagram or Twitter or whatever. And that's, to me, that's like retarded. It's retarded.
But you know what? I understand it though, because it's the gift and the curse.
Right.
I want to paint this scenario. Let's say every time you walk outside, everybody goes, "Oh shit, there he is! Can I get your autograph?" Every single time. You can't even go to the bathroom and take a leak without somebody trying to get an autograph from you. At some point, as a human being, you're going to start feeling yourself. And that's what these, like the celebrity culture, they live in this bubble where everybody kisses your ass all the time. And they do it because they just want to be around you. They want to be surrounded by that celebrity environment and all that other stuff. These people never get told the truth most of the time because people are afraid if they tell them the truth, they're not going to be in a circle anymore. So that's what you're dealing with. So the fact that somebody wants validation from the public, if you're a public figure, goes with the territory. It's very few people that have the ability to navigate that and not get lost in it.
That's why
very few.
Here's the problem with that, Howard. We had this conversation a couple of years ago. Remember, Dave, when we were doing this on the phone?
Yes.
Out this social media thing. It's not all about what you're saying, Howard, because those people already got their shine. The problem has become now everybody wants to be Dave. Everybody wants to be Max, but they can't. So now they're creating a false narrative that now all of a sudden they got little minions following them and repeating this shit. And now it's like a wheels on the bus go round and round. Mm-hmm. This is where the gift and the curse comes in. I don't even think there's a gift no more with this guy. To be honest.
I would agree with that.
I think there's more gift to social media. I think that ship has sailed. It sailed with the uprising and the removal of Mubarak in the Middle East. After that, it's become strictly curse because this is what we got now. You can't, I hate to say this, you can't say nothing. We started with the people in North Carolina. Now that Bishop's on the line, the people in North Carolina argued over a bathroom. A man's bathroom is for a man, a woman's bathroom is for a woman. And all of a sudden, the NBA jumped in and said, we're not going to have the All-Star game in Charlotte, North Carolina, because you don't believe in whatever. Because it became public and people were talking about it on social media. So it became, I'm going to get my way. I'm going to be quite honest, guys. I'm sick of the NBA, to be quite honest, because I'm sick of this guy. We had this conversation, too, about Adam Silva. He got one foot on the banana peel and the other one out the door. Because he hasn't done jack shit to right since he's been the commissioner. I'm just being honest for myself. He hasn't done very good, many right things. And what he did this time, and I'm not defending or whatever with Kyrie, but you waited 5 days, and you're still talking about I'll speak to him next week. Now I'm going to suspend him, but you still haven't sat down and talked to him. You said next week, so now we're up to 15 days.
So Dom,
this guy's
Dom, I'm saying Dom. So
yes, sir.
If he picked up the phone and he spoke to the owner and said, "Hey, control your guy."
But that ain't what he said, Bishop. I'm
talk
sorry.
to your guy.
He didn't say
but I'm just saying specific.
Talk to him next week.
But I'm saying specifically talking to Kyrie, again, I gotta think that when all of these conversations were happening and the Anti-Defamation League and the rabbi came out and we're going to take this moment as a learning moment and a teaching moment, and all the things that they say, to basically appease the people looking for a pound of flesh, all of those nice things that they say, and they could have all been over. There would have still been some people who would be like, well, he didn't apologize fast enough, or I don't think the apology was sincere enough, or there's always going to be those people. But the vast majority, there will be no story here. The story would have been over. But for him to come out and then start speaking in parables and then start reflecting, and you understand what I'm saying? Because he was
doing
being
what
asked,
Kyrie does. That's what you mean.
being asked straight questions, and it's kind of like, I'm sure they had a list of questions that they were supposed to ask him, and they asked those questions, and then you still couldn't even go with the flow. And it's like, again, to say whatever you want to say, you still want to get paid, you still want the contract, you still want the contract extension from wherever it comes from, you still want that money. If you're playing basketball, you want to get paid for it. So you can say whatever you want, just like the same thing with Kanye. It's like you can say whatever you want about, Oh, what? But you signed the contract. You signed the contract. You got in bed. You saying that they devils, they this, they that, but you got in bed with them. And now you probably so caught up in it that even if you wanted to go out and do something, you can't because there's probably like a non-compete clause, or you probably don't own the rights to the Ye name or whatever it is.
Well-
And if they're selling your merchandise, if they terminate the agreement based on something that you did or something, you are not entitled to any portion of the profits or a lesser portion of the profits or something. I'm sure they probably screwed him over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got Ronan in the queue. Ronan, are you ready to speak, bro? I don't think he's ready.
Hello?
Oh, he is.
Yeah, what's
Peace,
up?
Ronan.
Peace, everybody.
What's up? Peace.
What's up, man?
Yep. Your thoughts, brother, on Brooklyn Nets suspending Kyrie Irving?
Holla pretty much said everything I was gonna say. Just these are the rules. Bend the knee. Take your L, man.
What else you gonna do?
Yeah, that whole with Kyrie, you following the Hebrew Israelites. I mean, these are dudes running around dressed up like extras from the Kid with the Golden Arms, and they got Wonder Woman boots on and ninja boots on. I mean, come on. And they standing on corners screaming at people. They don't know exactly where they're coming from, so they're Hebrew Israelites. They got Chinese monk beads on. They got bracelets on from the mascara. That's where Wonder Woman comes from. They got ninja boots on. And they're giving their own false interpretation of history.
Read.
And someone's guiding him down this path. He's saying these ridiculous things. And then on top of that, how can he complain? They're paying you. If you're worried about, you want to say your own, you want to talk about this, whatever other silliness and stuff like that, create your own league, have your own commissioners, have your own team, general managers, all that stuff, and you can say, do whatever you want. You can go buy Kanye's stupid sneakers. You can talk about whatever, pretending that you're Hebrew Israelites walking around in the desert for 40 years after living in Egypt, whatever you want. But, what do you expect from him, man? He thinks he's a guru or something, man. I mean, should he be suspended? No. But that's
no. If they made an agreement that this is what you were going to do, this is what you were going to say, this is the role, this is the part that you were going to play in this whole thing, and you didn't do that, then you violated the agreement, and now we got to do what we got to do, because now what you're doing is you thumbing your nose up at us, and you basically saying you spitting in our face. So they got to do something not to look completely weak and helpless. They got to
basically you standing over the toilet peeing when you should be sitting down.
Exactly.
Then again, they should have just been better off suspending him 5 days ago, because expecting him to comply and say what you think he's gonna say is like rolling the dice. Y'all could have did this shit 7 days ago and called it George, and his suspension would have been up by now. That's how long this has been going on, guys. And he just got suspended today. Was it today or yesterday?
Last night.
Right? But it's been going on for a week.
It'll be something else.
One thing I do know, the white man gives them the get right. They get right. That's one thing I do know. You can set your watch to that shit.
Oh, we got our brother Moody. What's up, Moody? In the paint. Welcome, bro.
What up?
It's a full house tonight.
Yo, what up, Fab Kings? What's up?
Jay Moody, what's the deal?
Yo, first of all,
go ahead,
I'm gonna do this quick, man, because I really came in support of my man Ime. What's my man from the Celtics that might do it? I really came in support. Yeah, I came for the nut buses, the bachelor nut buses, but I want to say something about Kyrie real quick. Like, first of all, to the brother that was talking, You know, me as an Israelite, I'm sitting over here shining up my ninja boots. You know what I'm saying? And I'm really offended by that. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to get the Bible and contort it all around until it sounds right. You know what I'm saying, son? I'm gonna get you later on down the road when I figure it out. Of course, I'm only fucking around, but just let me say this about Kyrie real quick. I think it was my brother Hollip that was on there, and he was talking about like the fake outrage. Listen, nobody, in my opinion, right? Nobody is really. We're not really mad. We're just reactionary, right? Like we just. It's like time to be upset. That's what we do.
Yeah.
Like we're really good at that. Like it's time to be upset, and what we do best is we do stuff when it's time. You know what I'm saying? And so. It's time for us to be upset. It's not really outrage because as soon as something else comes up, like first everybody was talking about Kanye. Now nobody's talking about Kanye because everybody's talking about Kyrie. We're event people, so you're not upset because when you're upset, you take drastic measures and you go to length. If you gave anybody 100 Hollips and you gave them 100 Dawoods and you gave them 100 Max and Angus's and David. If you gave them 100, then we would be treated just like the Jewish brothers and sisters because it's all about the dollar. We certainly have the dollar with $1.4 trillion of spending power. We certainly have it. If you gave people that will let you know you either do it our way or the highway, then we wouldn't be worried. We wouldn't be talking about Jewish people because Black people are only mad at Jewish people when they make us uncomfortable by sticking together. That's the thing. I don't really care. I don't know how y'all feel. But I'm telling you the truth to be 100. I don't really give a fuck what Jewish people be doing. I don't care who they shut down.
Thank you.
Because I know my people, we wield the same power. You know, what's so funny about being 104 billion up, and it's probably more than that, but what's so funny about being 1.4 billion up is that our personal net worth is down. And we're one of the very few communities that the spending power is up, but our value continues to go down. And if you want to change things, if you want people to fear you the way that they fear the Jewish people or the LB, no disrespect to none of my homosexual people. I never do this disrespectful. I just don't remember. I damn near graduated from school. So LBTQC or whatever, all the L's and all that stuff. Like if you want people to fear us like they fear them, you do it with your dollar. You don't have to talk a lot of shit. You just have to say, yo, y'all get it right. You know what I'm saying? Like if you don't get it right, we not coming to the games. If you don't get it right, we don't buy the wares. If you don't get it right, we don't go here. We shut everything down with the dollar.
We don't do that.
Well, we don't do it. So leave the Jewish, let them do their thing. Like I'm looking at them and I'm like, yo, man, like, yo, kid, I know they got more spending power, but everybody on this phone know it to be true. We got the same thing, but it's not enough Hollands. It's not enough Davids. It's not enough people that say, yo, shut it down right here, ride or die, da-da-da. So Kyrie, nigga, I don't care if the earth is flat. The earth is flat. Niggas can wear ninja boots. You could talk your Israelite. You can do whatever, but Kyrie know he gonna bow down to the power.
The knee.
Right. He's gonna bend. And I didn't even know. Lord of is the game, the Lord of the Game of the Thrones.
Who got the Darth Vader thing going?
Is it the Darth? Okay, so because I just heard about Game of Thrones like 4 months ago. But the thing about it is this: if that's what it is, bend the knee. You're going to bend the knee, but let us not forget. Let us be serious and not forget. We can make people bend the knee too. And I'm in the business of not being mad at people that can make you bend your knee. When I know I can make you bend the knee, I'm just not organized enough to make you bend the knee. We control culture. We control sports. We have a heavy take in economics, and we let it all fly over our heads and fly by us. So salute to Kyrie. I don't care. Yo, he rich, bro. I mean, he's going to have $1 million regardless. Like, he's going to have it regardless. If it wasn't for Kanye, they wouldn't have even suspended Kyrie. I don't know if anybody. It's just the wave right now. It's the wave. It's like, if there's no Kanye, Kyrie is not even suspended. He's not remotely suspended at all right now. You see what I'm saying? So we got the power until we take it. Like I tell my people, we all use social media to get our point across. We all do it. That's what it's for. But you got to watch the people that understand that this is a tool, and you watch the people that use it as this is what their lifeline is. Like, this is all their worth, is how other people look at them and feel about their opinions. And then some of us, we use it as a tool. For me, it's a tool. You know, when we come around to voting on the 8th, me and my crew, we going up to Forsyth County where they doing some voter intimidation, and we going to stand out there and we're going to intimidate us. That's what we're real good at doing. See, I rather than post all that and talk all that, I just go do it. I just go use the power at my facility at the point. I go and I use it at the time until we get together, which sounds like a far-fetched thing with us. But until we do it, leave them Jewish people alone, man. Leave them Asian people alone. Like, leave everybody alone. Stop hating on people that got it together like you should. That's all I'm saying.
I agree 1,000%.
There you go. We got Reggie on the line. Reggie.
Yo, I was spoiling my food. Y'all gotta forgive me.
Your comments on the Brooklyn Nets suspending Kyrie Irving, and then we're gonna go. We're gonna talk some more about the Nets, the firing of Steve Nash and Ime Udoka after you finish your comment, Reg.
I don't want to sound anti-Semitic, but we all know this is BS beyond control, bro. That's right. I mean, we've exhausted everything we probably said in the chat and on Facebook. So, everybody know what my opinion is. Ain't no way in the world this man should be suspended at least 5 games. We don't even know how many games he is going to be suspended.
Right.
But let someone else say something about black folks and it's okay. That's all I gotta say.
The need.
Yo, can I? But Mac, if I can just ask the brother one question, isn't that a part of respectfully? And I hope you're enjoying your meal, King. But respectfully, isn't that a part of our thing? Like, isn't that a part of isn't some of the narrative that we put out is like, yo, why y'all let everybody else do stuff that we can't do? Like, see, I think to me, I think that's what the problem is. I think that it's a group of people that don't exercise their power, but then we want to lash out at everybody else for exercising theirs. And I'm asking that respectfully. I don't mean that in any disrespectful.
No. And I understand totally. And I agree with what you're saying. And the narrative for us has to change as the people too. You're 100% right. We shouldn't be. It's like, not to say it, but I'm going to say it. It's like we're programmed to think that way. We got to break the programming at some point.
So, indeed, facts.
Moody.
Yes, sir.
I got a question to ask you.
Yes, sir.
Would we be even having this conversation if he didn't post that online? Like, what was the point?
Not about no, we wouldn't. Not about Kyrie. No, if he didn't, Kyrie is in the moment. This social media. Listen, social media is getting rappers killed, man. They don't get it. You know, it's kind of like you know what it is? There is something that maybe all of us harness well, and maybe other people don't. But there is a power you got to admit in saying one word and reaching kabillions in like 1 second flat. And if I was rich, like the rappers that get killed, I would never be where they're at ever. Right. Like, I would never be where rappers get killed if I had like $10 million in the bank, because I don't hang with you.
I wouldn't be shooting dice if I had 26 million.
Yeah, that was stupid.
I might be shooting dice, but it'll be me and the Queen shooting dice in the mansion somewhere. You see what I'm saying? But you're absolutely right, my king. It's like we're not having it if he doesn't do it. But look at Durant. Look at the most sensitive guy ever in the history of social media and NBA. Look at Kevin Durant. Look at him, man. It's like he's a menstrual cycle of a social media person. And He had, and I don't, and I'm just being. He's a menstrual cycle of that.
I'm stealing that.
Yeah, you can take it, bro. But it's like this whole thing is that these guys have the power, and come on, y'all. All of us have done it, right? Like, all I gotta do is pick up my phone and say something. I ain't gotta think about it. I don't have to think about it. I just gotta do it and worry about the repercussions later. Well, when you're us, the repercussions are not. The stakes are not really probably that high. But when you're a billion-dollar ball player in an organization that is overseen by Jewish people, doing dumb stuff and then just saying sorry, it doesn't cut it for them. It cuts it for us. You see the difference? It doesn't cut it for them. It cuts it for us because I saw somewhere on what's that thing where they raise money for people, Matt? Y'all know what people
GoFundMe.
GoFundMe. Yo, Kanye West, they got a group of Kanye West fans.
Yeah,
they're trying to raise money to make him a billionaire again, and they ain't got no damn money.
You think that's a group of fans, or you think that's Kanye who posted that?
I think it's fans because I see the insanity.
They did it before. They did it before when he had his tax problem.
Yeah, trust me, it's the fans. It's the fans. I was downtown Atlanta years ago, and Gucci Man was crossing over Peachtree. This is a real story. And this truck was coming up Peachtree like a bat out of hell. And this chick ran in front of a van that had to be doing like 60. And she was like, yo, you gotta slow down. And I was looking at her and I was like, yo, she just jumped in front of a speeding van for Gucci Man. It's us. It's us. So when the apologies don't work for them, we let it work for us. And then we turn around and we say to them, well, if it was this, or that, y'all would have let them know. We can be the same way. Family, we can be the same exact way.
You know what I've always said? I don't have a problem. Like everybody acts like the R word is like some third rail. The only problem I have with black folks is that they don't know how to be racist.
Right.
They're incompetent with their racism. If we were experts at racism, I wouldn't give a shit if somebody called me a racist.
I love it. I love that. Oh my gosh.
That needs to go on a shirt.
Yeah, I'm pretty good at it. I would have taken MAGA, but I couldn't think what the M would stand for black people.
Right. And with that, fellas, we gonna stay with the Nets, who are a dumpster fire, and we're gonna move on to the coach. The Brooklyn Nets fired Steve Nash. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
Oh well,
long overdue.
He shouldn't have had the job in the first place.
Exactly.
I agree.
Amen. Unanimous across the board.
That's like if you get a job as a manager and you barely holding on to the fact that you know what's going on. That's what he was doing.
Yeah.
He was trying to manage grown men, and first of all, they didn't respect him. You can tell that they didn't respect him from the jump, and it's just like you're non-relatable. You're non-relatable to the players, and he should have known the writing was on the wall when KD asked for him to be fired, and so does the GM. It's like you can contort and you can say all of this stuff, but you're next to go as well. They probably won't get rid of you during the season, but you're next to go, and that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is. It's like I don't feel sorry for him because he'll be just fine. He's a white male in America, and the world is his oyster. He'll get another job, whether he's qualified or not. He'll get another job. Somebody will be like, "Oh, that was so unfair. What happened to you? Hey, take this job over here," and that's it.
He might get a GM. He might be a GM someplace out of the blue.
Yeah.
And as far as the replacement goes, it's just like I got to think that was in the works, and it just seems like that was in the works well before the actual firing took place. That was in the works well before, because it just doesn't. Stuff like that just doesn't happen. It's like, hey, we are going to be firing our coach. Hey, there's a coach laying over here. Let's just pick him up. When there's like 20 others waiting for a job. So they specifically wanted that dude. So I wouldn't be surprised if before Ime left, promises were made, and he was like, well, y'all not going to live up to those, so I'm going to go over here. And then he got into the situation, and then they're like, well, yo, you want to work this out? We can work this out somehow. And then they got him back over, because Nash was never going to last. He was never going to last there.
So you saying there was a little tampering going on with this situation?
Well, I don't know if it's tampering when it comes to coaching. I don't know. As players, I don't know if there can be tampering with coaching.
Hey, anything is possible.
But I know for sure Nash was unqualified for that role, and it's just like it was just a matter of time. I was expecting them to do it over the summer, because that series that they played against his assistant coach, because Ime Udoka was the assistant coach, and he basically outmaneuvered him in every single game to the point where the Novellas got swept. And it was clear to see that Nash had no adjustments. He had nothing other than just giving KD the ball and letting him go. It was like, it was clear. It was crystal clear. He was outclassed, and it's just like, that was like, you can't hide that. You can say he was for the players. He's a nice guy. He, his hair's coiffed. You know what I'm saying? He speaks up for the players. He's encouraging. He tells Ben that he's good enough. He's fast enough. He's strong enough. He encourages him. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, it's like, if you can't do the job, you can't do the job.
Yeah, wait till I see the next white boy. I'm going to quaff him so hard. I forgot about quaff. I'm going to use quaff tomorrow, I promise you, some way, somehow.
It's like, you all know how I feel about the Brooklyn Novellas. You already know how I feel about them. So I told you that this would happen. I just didn't know how it was going to happen. I didn't know how it was going to happen, but I knew that this was going to, and it's not over. It's not over because, like I said, KD hasn't been activated yet. And once he gets going, because he's not going to allow Kyrie to get all the attention.
Yeah.
So it is what it is.
Listen, Nash needed to go. He was inept. He shouldn't have been given the job from jump. You knew he was going to run Mike D'Antoni's system, which he did, which leads not to wins. It leads to the playoffs in the first round exit. And he just wasn't the guy. Wasn't the guy at all. Anybody else?
I miss R. How come R isn't here?
He won't be on this. He won't be on this.
Yeah. He's
I think he ducked. I think he ducked the Bishop.
To go against my buddy Bishop, just for argument's sake. He was 1 foot away from knocking Milwaukee out the playoffs.
That's true.
Right? Then all of a sudden, their brain surgeon of a GM or president, whatever the hell Marx's job and title is. Before that, he sold the farm to the devil to get Harden. Then had to sell his soul and its heart to the devil again to get rid of Harden. And then he got Ben Simmons, who can't play, can't suit up, don't want to suit up, got mental illness, got a bad back, whatever the case may be. So you get swept in that playoff because you put your eggs in this basket and that person jumped out of the basket and you put another clown in the basket and now you got no basket. Never mind Kyrie going, 1 for 17. So you got swept. You got swept by a better team. But you got swept by a better team because your team was totally fucked up because of how you made it. What was wrong with just keeping Kyrie, Durant, and working around that? No,
and working word down. Real talk.
That lasted 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So I'm not sitting here defending that. I'm just saying you look at all the variables and all the fuckery the Nets have done over maybe 18 months. Come on, guys.
That's why they call the novellas, right?
That's
If I
why
wasn't
that's
a
why
Knicks
he's
fan,
next to go. That's why he's next on the
right?
chopping
You
block.
know, you want to know
Fan,
something?
I would have bought it.
I don't want to keep harping on it, but what happened to the team that made the playoffs prior to the bubble? You
Before
had
all of that
Kyrie,
happened,
you had
you're right.
Kyrie and Durant in street clothes because they were injured.
Right.
There was nothing wrong with that team. That team was just waiting for those two guys,
And
and
it
that's
would have
it.
been deep.
Yeah, but
Very
they were Mac
Yeah,
guys.
yeah.
They
Yeah,
were
but
they were basically what the Knicks are now. A team full of role players that if you catch lightning in a bottle, yeah, you might make the playoffs with these, what is it now, 10 teams playing. You might
Right.
fall into that. But you was a team with a bunch of role players. Like how the Knicks are now. So you rolled the dice. You went and got two of the best players in free agency. But everything you did after that, you get
Garbage.
you get a big zero. I'm sorry. If that was the Knicks that did that shit, New York City would be blowing up right now. I don't know how the Nets go under the radar other than with Bishop.
because nobody
don't let the
cares.
shit
Nobody
go, thank
cares.
God. But if
Nobody
it was the
cares.
Knicks, if it was the Knicks, people would be going batshit crazy.
Because nobody cares about the novellas. Nobody cares about them. It's like, yo, it's Nick
No,
Town.
their own fans don't.
They
They're
don't care.
invited.
It's like,
They're
sitting in the garden.
Funny the Nets are. Not to take Bishop's side. The Nets are a minus 10 million in ticket sales and ticket participation. How does that happen? How do you get minus 10 million in ticket sales? Somebody help me with that. I got a master's degree. It just ain't in math. They're 10 million. They're a negative $10 million when it comes to gate. Is anybody going to the games?
I was
That's
there
crazy.
Saturday, and Dave
Well,
and
yeah.
all were at the first game.
Was it crowded?
No,
Yeah, no, it was full house
Was
when
it
we went.
out? Who were they
That's-
playing?
We saw Toronto.
and I
That's a
saw
good team.
Indiana.
That's
Yeah,
not
nobody
a good
cares
team.
about Indiana. Nobody
Yeah.
cares about Indiana.
No.
Nobody cares.
But I mean, the Nets are like the Nets are like the stepchild. Even though it used to be Jersey and New York, like I think what cured the remedy for the Nets is like winning, and obviously that's
Not with this group, and not with
in
this
the
GM.
forefront. Yeah, but I
No.
think that the Nets are like the stepchild. It's like a lot of franchise. Like if you haven't noticed, a lot of the franchises in the NBA, they're diehard because a lot of them are coming from cities that they don't really have much of anything. And so, like you look at Milwaukee, like you look at places like that, they're diehard when they get a team. But this is New York City, man. And like if you're the Nets and you come into Brooklyn and the Knicks is across the bridge, you gotta win. Because we'll fill the house if you win. Unfortunately, it'll take you to win. Where Knicks fans, they may be assholes. Because I'm a Nets guy since Dr. J. But the king is right though. It should be like the novellas. I wouldn't be mad if they just switched it to the novellas until we start doing what we're supposed to be doing. But if you're in New York City, you're secondary to the Knicks, man. The Knicks don't have to win nothing. It's the heritage, it's the culture, it's just the whole history behind the Knicks, where they could sell out the Garden and they could be trash. The Nets got to earn Brooklyn, and we got to admit they haven't done it. So they're going to stay 10%. They're going to stay 10 million below in gates because they haven't earned anything.
According to a certain host, the Knicks organization should follow the steps that the novellas took to ramp up their organization and get the personnel and this and that. They should be following that blueprint. And I'm like, dude, again, besides Durant and KD, what superstar do you know in the history of the NBA wanted to come to New Jersey or Brooklyn? I'm not talking about Dr. J.
Right.
I'm talking about let's just say in the last 20 years, what star has forced his way to New Jersey or Brooklyn? Or even been associated?
They signed Deron Williams and they signed ISO Joe. Those were the two guys King.
They got Dr. J by accident. Don't forget that shit. Like,
They stumbled on the
They
doctor.
sent me to the Nets. They got him by accident. They had a yard.
My God, I'm depressed now.
Yeah, it's like then and then you get KD and Kyrie. It's like you look at these guys, like neither one of them got any heart. Neither one of them. So it's like, who's the leader on that team? Who's the leader on that team? So you had two weak all-star players and a weak head coach. What you expect?
So if they sign Ime, and I'm hearing that
oh God, I missed that part.
The the Me Too people, they're gonna come for him. I've been on Twitter and they don't want him in Brooklyn, but I think they're gonna sign Ime. Will that be more gasoline thrown to the fire that is the dumpster fire that is the Nets?
I think it might pick up the anticipation. What is Me Too coming for him for? Like, what did he do? He busts a couple of nuts. He's a bachelor.
Oh, they think he was. Well, he was. I guess he was inappropriate in what he did.
But
yeah, I mean, per his contract, sure.
But the weird thing is, guys, if we follow the Udoka story, nobody really knows what happened. Right? None of us on this line could say, hey, Moody, I know he did, because they kept that shit under wrap.
Right.
They said, okay, we're going to suspend him for a year because of alleged, but they never said, Mark slept with 16 girls, he grabbed 6 girls' asses. I'll say this, it wasn't the shit show that Dallas had.
Right.
Or has right now.
Well, no. You don't know all of the particulars, but
so Dallas had quite a few years ago. It don't measure up that, and it took them forever to get rid of them people. So nobody really knows what this guy did, except maybe Neil Long, right about now.
She don't know either. She don't know either.
Right.
She don't know either.
We don't know what really happened, do we?
They saying, the story is that he was banging some Mormon chick.
Right.
That's the story. And then they showed her. She's married to somebody who is a significant person within the organization, and then he was banging some other white woman within the organization as well, and they told him to stop. It's like, yo, we can't tell you what to do with your man, but we need you to stop because now it's becoming an HR issue. And when it becomes an HR issue, it's not an issue until it is an issue. You know what I'm saying? So he didn't break the law, but
nobody got
HR. But he broke team policy, though.
But in an HR setting, HR setting, it's like when you're in the military. If you are exercising with somebody who is at a lower level than you, they might say that you're using your position of power and influence or an authority to basically get this person to comply with whatever you want them to do. And that's kind of like against the law.
Why are you telling my secret? No, just
yeah. So that's kind of like against the law. That's kind of like against the law.
What I'm saying
but these people weren't subordinates to him, were they?
Yeah, she was in the lower position. She basically arranged travel, and he's the head coach. So he's in an authoritative position.
I don't think he had anything to do with their upward mobility.
Right. He's not in a position to.
That's what we described as fraternization in the military. If I was dating a female that worked for me and I had the ability for her upward mobility, that can't happen. That's a no-go. But maybe she could say, but I'm saying she could say, I felt pressured because he's the head coach. He's the head guy.
Right. Yeah, he's right. Yo, the king is
hold up. I think I might be, maybe I'm confused. Was he banging somebody whose husband also worked for the thing?
Yeah. No, her husband works for the Utah Jazz.
Oh, he works for the Utah Jazz, so there's a Mormon all the way around. Only thing I know is he like it gluten-free and kosher.
You better shut up, man.
Right. Well,
You know,
well, has she complained?
She hasn't
No.
said anything. She removed her. She closed down her LinkedIn account once his name became, live to the media, and she hasn't said anything. Nor has her husband.
Does she
So
still
I'm
work
just
for the Celtics?
I believe so.
See?
Excuse me.
all right. Well, she won.
Yeah.
She got the LD and she still got a job.
Right.
But isn't that society, like, that's where we're at though, right? Like I guess I think here's my character flaw is that I saw some of these things unwinding 10, 20, 30 years ago because I'm 52. So I saw some of these things unwinding. Yeah, I am. And see, it's kind of like if oh, by the way, yo, speaking of 52, yo, David, salute, man. Tell the young king we said peace, man.
Oh yeah, thank you.
God
Thank
bless.
you very
God
much.
bless, King. God bless, man.
Thank
Hey,
you
yo,
very
but
much.
like, isn't this our society? Like the former president of the United States was a proud pea grabber. We're a completely shattered. We're a morally shattered society, and like I'm sure we all can agree that the coach is an idiot. I don't think anybody is not arguing that he's not an idiot. Like, he's an idiot for sure. But the thing about it is, at the end of the day, when you talk about Me Too, I'm not going to disrespect Me Too because this is not my podcast. This is the In the Paint podcast, and that would take me about 40 minutes to disrespect Me Too. But here's the thing: you're coming for somebody that technically they only did something you don't like. Again, like we were talking about with Kyrie.
Right.
Again, you're just a group of people that you pick moments. Because like if Me Too is a serious organization, you don't wait for celebrities to commit offenses. There's regular people every day that come across the news every day and they violate women. I never heard of Me Too. Go ahead, Matt. Mm-hmm.
So, but Ime didn't violate anybody. It was consensual.
And then again,
it's only team policy. It's only team policy.
Right.
That's team policy, Moody. That's not the law. It's like I always say to Dave and Mac.
Whoa.
If Ime was in the NFL, Me Too wouldn't touch him. How does Me Too skip over the NFL?
Well, when you say it's not against the law, technically it's not against the law, but you put the employer, his employer, which is the Boston Celtics, you put them at risk if you continue this relationship, and then it may be consensual until it's not, because the only thing that she has to say is she felt pressured, and he's in a position of power.
But that didn't happen, Bishop.
Well, it could. Well, she said he used inappropriate language, so they could have been doing whatever, and then he could have said to her, "Yo, come in my office and get on your knees."
Break the law, Bishop. That's the only thing I'm saying.
That's against the law, dude.
He broke a team policy. Okay, the team has the right to suspend him. I get that, but as far as him moving on, getting another job, I
got a question for y'all. Why didn't they fire him?
Because then that's a liability on their part too. Because now you didn't fire her, and now you discriminated against me because of
so to keep them both, they suspend him.
Well, he was going to be fired anyway.
Well,
they were just trying to figure out a nice way, an amicable way to do it. They were trying to figure out what they were going to do. Even if he was suspended for this season, they would have probably said, okay, well, because he sat out, we have come to an amicable resolution, and we're going to allow him to go and find other employment or whatever.
They essentially told him that. They said if somebody else comes along, you're free to take it.
That's what he asked for.
Right. So, but I'm saying, so they were gonna, let him go anyway.
Right.
Let me ask y'all
he asked for. He asked for that terminology. He asked for that when they said they were going to suspend him, because that's why I was saying earlier, something was in the works all along, because he knew he was going to get this other gig.
If he didn't get a job, Bishop, come next September, we would have forgot he was the Celtics coach.
Exactly. Exactly.
This is facts. That's
Exactly.
super fact. And can we all?
Question.
So do we? I'm sorry. Go ahead, Matt. Go ahead, Matt. Please.
No. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No. I'm sorry.
I was going to
man.
say, would any of you guys, if you were a GM in the NBA and you had a slot open for a head coach, would you hire Ime?
Hell
At
yeah,
this
right
point.
now. Right now.
Not if I was the Nets.
The Moody Nets. Right now. I'd be like, yo, son. Yo, just let me, I got one question to ask
I'll
you.
let Bishop answer that. The Nets got too much going on. I don't.
Well, I know. I'm just. First of all, I'm a long-term Nets guy. So y'all got to remember, I
Right.
am akin to a meth head at this stage of my NBA alum, where I will do anything to see my team be successful. Anything short of violating my masculinity, might I add. But the thing about him is he didn't do. I mean, he had sex. He broke a team policy. I think that if we look at Durant and maybe Kobe, RP Kobe, and Shaq is the homie, so I have nothing to say, but a lot of NBA players, I think that if we look at them, I'm sure that if we uncover the thing, like I always tell people about entertainment, when R. Kelly pees on a kid, or it's like when somebody else does something, we go on this rant and we go on this rage, and I always tell people, no, you're justified for how you feel, but just let me tell you something. The only reason you're not mad at every entertainer is because they didn't get busted yet.
Yep.
They didn't get busted. See,
Yep.
Ime got busted, and he has a clear sexual addiction, because I'm looking at some of the women, God bless them. I mean, all due respect, yo, shallah, like all that to them. But I'm just saying, yo,
The
listen.
opinions.
But yo, David,
Come on, Bishop, where are you?
Yeah. Look, ladies and gentlemen, Jay Moody does not represent the opinions and
views.
positions and views
Hey, Mark.
of In the Paint. He's actually a consultant who's just adding, just adding his personal
I'm just keep
opinion.
it clean. I swear to God, I'm not gonna let y'all down tonight. Listen.
All right.
When I look at some of them, here's all I say. In my opinion, I have a very attractive wife. Here's the thing that I always say. I always tell my wife, if I violate you, she's going to look better than you. I don't know if that makes sense.
And after you wake up from your concussion,
David, no, Bishop, I get it. And David, I can see you're disgusted by that. But all I'm saying is, it's at least go out on top, champ. Like you lost your whole career over. I'm like, well, just go out on top, champ. So I would give him the job, because all jokes aside, if a lot of people get second chances, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's been swept under the rug. And I think that while Brett Favre may not be in line for a coaching position or anything, it is kind of funny how we kind of pick and choose who can violate the most. I would say that Brett Favre violated way more than Ime when you talk about a social scale. If you talk about like a human scale, we forgive who we want. We put on the cross and we burn exactly who we want to burn. He broke team policy. The guy loves to bust one off. I would get him in. If this was the Moody Nets, I would be like, yo, kid, real talk. You can't just hit everybody. Son. Like you just can't walk around. Yo, you can't beat everybody. Yo, like just chill. Like you can't do that.
No, the problem, Moody, is not that. It's like where you did it.
Yes, he's messy.
You did it at the job.
You could have done that anywhere. You could have done that anywhere. You could have done that outside. You could have done that anywhere, but you did it in-house, which says to me that you don't have self-control. Now,
hey,
in
can
an
I ask you a
organization,
question? Hey, Bishop, Mac, Dave, everybody, can I ask everybody a question? Do you guys think, how many people within an organization do you all think knew exactly what was going on, but they didn't want to like step on toes, if you will, or jeopardize where they were because he had more. Like, how many people do you think were around him that should have been like, yo, son, what are you doing, my man? Because there's no way that he did this and nobody, none of the players, nobody in the organization knew.
I think to answer that, I think there were some people that knew and others who speculated, because I've worked places where people speculate a lot of things, may or may not be correct, but a lot of times we don't say anything because it's like we don't want to be that guy.
Right. Yep.
You know.
Funny story. My first job, I remember a dude was at an investment firm, big office. So dude was smashing one chick on one side of the office and smashing another chick on the other side of the office. One of them found out that she was being played, and I'm walking by. I hear her crying. You can't do this to me. My whole family has invested their money with you. And he was like, "Hey, it is what it is." And I'm walking by. I'm like, "It is what it is." And you shouldn't have got with a dude in the office who was an obvious player.
Yeah, because one of my biggest problems. No, Dom, go ahead, Dom. I'm sorry.
No, but do you think some people like office cooler? They know it, they see it, and they're like,
yeah. And then maybe he ran afoul of somebody and somebody blew up his spot, which happens as well.
I mean, you've seen it a million times. You've been at work. You've seen somebody you knew was married. They was messing with somebody that was probably married. And you're thinking, man, it's just an affair. It's not going to last, blah, blah, blah. And it becomes water cooler talk. So you almost think to yourself, shit, I know they must be hearing us. So they really they don't give a shit. They're still doing what they're doing.
But I mean, you could for me, it's like I can know that it's going on, but like, how you gonna get between a dog and his bone?
Yeah,
you understand what I'm saying? It's like I don't care what you're doing as long as it's not with my joint. It's yours.
Right.
Do you?
Right.
Do you?
Yeah, because I would think that people had to be. This is an NBA head coach. There's not a lot of those.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And I would think that people knew, but they didn't say anything. But like the only thing is, like, for me, if I get it, and listen, he deserved to get. If he got fired, I think he deserved it. My point is, it's not about him being fired or suspended, because I think he deserved all that. Because if all of us are on the podcast right now, and if all of us sign an agreement, right? Like if we all say, when you come on in the paint, we explicitly do not discuss politics. If you discuss politics, you will be dismissed from. If we sign our names on a dotted line, we have to be held accountable to what we sign. So I think that if someone violates a team policy, I don't have a problem with them being disciplined or suspended or even fired. But I think for something like this, there's no force. No one got raped that we know of. Nobody that we know of. And so what happens is, I think he should be free to let another franchise, if they're going to, the man can coach basketball. And I'm a societal guy. I make sure I don't bow down to much of society, but to be honest with you guys, in my opinion, from what we see from people that get over with everything, this is drips in the bucket, y'all. Come on. He's a guy, he coached. He couldn't keep the banger in. He had a banger issue. He couldn't keep the banger in. And then another team wants him. And I would say that if he came to the Nets and he violated again, then he has to be on that blacklist. Like, he has to be on that list that can never, because if you let the team get you in that much trouble 2 times in a row. But I would hire him, as a Nets guy or as any NBA team, I would hire him. But to Bishop's point, and I think David has said something about, like, if you're dealing with Me Too, I just wanted to hear more people say, he's wrong, she's wrong.
Nobody has
I
said
think-
she's wrong.
Right, but I think, well, this is the problem with us, is that we excuse a whole nother party. Because I would tell any woman or man, if you didn't get raped, if you laid down and put on the lingerie and came in a hotel with the candles and the rose petals, you and him, to me, are the same exact people. Y'all are like the same exact people. And if you hold one person accountable and not the other, that's where the Me Too's of the world
Right. And I'm seeing on Twitter, oh, he's a predator. I'm like, no, he's not a predator. He's just smashing chicks who happen to work in his place of business.
That would make every man on here in his bachelor days, and maybe still in his bachelor days, that would make all of us a predator. Like, that's like, nobody answered this question, right? Because I told y'all I was going to make everybody proud tonight, because I didn't come to violate. I came to be, I'm doing my best, y'all. I'm trying my best, man. David, I see your face. I know you think David, I'm not violating, bro. I'm trying to be right, man. Listen, but y'all want to tell me, nobody answered the question. Y'all literally want to tell me all of y'all are OGs, right? Everybody on here is an OG. Can I ask y'all a question? Y'all ain't smashed nobody at the job, bro. Like y'all ain't smashed nobody at the job ever in your life. Like y'all ain't do that. I'm not excusing them.
I
never smashed nobody at a job.
No,
dude.
Yes.
Like, when I was single, I was a predator. You understand me? I was lining them up, stacking them up, and knocking them down.
I smashed them at the job, but they didn't work at the job.
Okay.
Nah, but you have to be really delicate. It has to be somebody who's mature enough to handle that situation, because if not, it could get very explosive very quickly. So it's got to be somebody that has something to lose, just like you have something to lose.
I want to say salute to Macy's. I want to say back in the day, salute to the old school Flatbush, the Macy's on Flatbush Avenue, Flatbush until the Flatbush Brooklyn, stand up, I'm Brooklyn till I die. The Macy's on Flatbush in Brooklyn. I want to salute the entire 1987, 88 staff, which I slept with 75% of the women in Macy's. And the 30% of them I slept upstairs.
You got some skin in the game. That's what the deal is.
Yes, I violated job policy so much it's ridiculous. And then what happens is you could have judged me. You could have judged me for that, but I get it. His punishment is just, but I don't think that you can just cut a man's livelihood off for an event like this. Is all I'm saying. Like, he deserves a chance to do what he does best. Still.
Yeah, well, he got criticized more for smashing somebody on his job than she did for cheating on her husband.
Thank you. That's the point. Thank you.
Well, wait, hold on. I have to interject. Women are not responsible for who they sleep with.
That's right. 100%. Yep. That's my point.
But did he take more heat because of who his fiance was?
A little,
yes.
That's part of it.
Yes.
That's
yes.
part of it.
Stop.
No.
Before we go any further, there's no such thing as a 7-year fiance. You understand what I'm saying? It wasn't. That's
definitely agree with that one, bitch.
That's a name for convenience. That's a name for convenience.
Whatever you think it was or whatever it was a lot. There's a lot of simps out there for Nia Long. A lot of them dudes came to bat for her.
I don't know about that part. I don't know about that part. Just because she look a certain way.
I really didn't see what the big deal was.
Just because she look a certain way, it's like she could be a pain in the ass.
Go on Twitter. A lot of them dudes came out
this is
for
a family show.
Nia Long.
No, I remember, and I was saying, who the fuck is Nia Long that she can't get it too?
Right.
She can get cheated on. Like, what's up? Like, why they acting like she's special or something?
Absolutely. I just think I think that it became more than a basketball issue because of Nia Long. You got a lot
All
of
of these
people.
dudes thinking about how they was on her shit back in the day.
Yeah, you got a lot of people that don't even follow basketball that knew about this because of Nia Long. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, I'm sorry. That was,
well, there's a lot of people that
David, you are absolutely correct. Yeah, if it's not Nia Long, if she is Margie from the CVS, then we probably hear about it a little bit.
Right.
But again, that is societal. Like men, it used to be only women were group. It's like men of the new. Yo, how you cheat on Nia Long? Well, I cheat on Nia Long like I cheat on Shaniqua.
First of all, if Beyonce got cheated on,
and Halle got cheated on.
None of these chicks is special, man.
Right.
None of them.
But that's the thing.
Whoever just said that, I'm cash apping you.
That's hollow. That's hollow. They're not.
You getting cash app for lunch, Holland?
Women of all stature have been cheated on throughout history. That's but my answering that question when I said that Nia Long was a factor in this was because it became more than basketball.
Right.
For us who are basketball fans, we knew who he was, and the fact that he was suspended, not fired, but suspended, we knew it about it because we're basketball fans. It wouldn't be a national story. It was only a national story because of who he was partnered with.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have people who don't follow basketball, but they know who Nia Long is. So then that took on a whole life of
they felt slighted.
Right. It's not
they
that
felt like they were cheated on.
Special.
I got a question.
I gotta be honest, Dave. When I heard about this, I'm a movie guy. You know that, Dave.
Yeah.
I started thinking, damn, when was the last movie she was in?
Thank you, Dom.
Yeah.
Think like a man. Think like a man.
No.
No, it wasn't Think Like Man.
Hold
It was the
on,
Christmas
fellas.
movie.
Hold on, fellas. Go ahead, Howard.
Yeah. How did he end up with her in the first place? Was it based on her brilliant personality or how she looked?
How she looked?
Because
right?
The industry cast.
Okay. So then why is she so
run.
special that she can't be cheated on? Is she the only woman that looked good?
I don't think anybody in here is saying that she was special.
No, a
lot. Like Mark said, there was a lot of dudes.
Yeah, there were a lot of
I think that, but David, I think that's the sentiment, right? Like I think the sentiment, like I get on social media like anybody else, and I saw this overwhelming amount of men and women like how you cheat on the. Well, here's how you cheat on any entertainer. First of all, no woman on earth is more ran through than the average entertainment chick. So why would Nia Long be dating a basketball coach? Why would who's the other one that don't age? She is very fine and she's a sweetie. She's really a very humble Lisa Ray. She's really a humble, nice girl. She's really a beautiful woman. But why do they go normal? You want to know why? If you've been passed around an industry like a blunt, what happens is you don't have the allure. And I don't mean that disrespect. I'm just saying you don't have the allure. It is
what it is.
I know.
Yeah, you don't have the allure you used to have. Like there is no Nia Long allure. There is no J-Lo allure. There is no Halle Berry allure. They have been in and out in everybody's bed everywhere. They're regular chicks. And that's why I always told cats, go back to the regular. When it comes to physical stuff, I'm going to tell you, the chick at the doctor's office, your lawyer, your tax attorney, the girl at Walmart, the girl at wherever, they are all finer than them, less luggage, and it'll be easier for you to deal with them and treat them respectfully. So Nia Long's just a chick. Like she's not, to an NBA head coach, she's just a chick.
Yeah.
That's it.
So
it is what it is.
So if they've been, I still can't get past the point. They got a 10-year-old. They got a 10-year-old kid, I believe.
Something like that.
Nia and the coach?
They've been at least.
I don't think he's the father, Bishop.
Yeah, he's the father.
He is. He is the father.
Is he?
So they've been together for at least 11 years, and he been engaged to her for 7. So he's been doing whatever the hell he want to do.
Yeah.
Regardless. So this ain't new to her. This ain't new to her. And it ain't. You can't say it's a money issue because they got money for a wedding. Come on.
Yeah.
Man, you get the finest chick out here, and you can find a dude that's tired of banging her. It's just
Exactly.
it is what it
You
is.
better,
Exactly.
you better believe it.
Yep.
Yes, there is nobody too fine to get cheated on. When you getting cheated on doesn't have nothing to do with looks or anything. It depends on the gender that's doing it. If a man cheats on you, it doesn't have anything to do with your looks. What it has to do is his mental conditioning at the point. If a woman cheats on you, right? It's like what we are. Can you come lay down next to somebody that you pledge yourself to? Can you come do that with no conscience? That's what everything comes down to. So, but the celebrity thing, I heard one of the kings say, Beyonce, I'm not even into celebrity chicks, but I can tell you something. There's a lot of dysfunctional women and men in the world, right? And I know this is a family show, so I'm not going to violate. I'm so proud of myself that I didn't violate tonight. God bless me for not violating.
Say what you got to say, bro.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Thank you, Mac. I was waiting for that. Listen, if you want to see uber fine women violating themselves and you understand it's not about looks at all, rather than me say porno, which I just said porno, just go look at just go look at adult video. You see some women and you're like, why is she doing that? Like why would she do that the way that she looks? Why does she do that? Looks are a tiny bit. You talk to anybody that's been with a woman or man that they love for any amount of time, a year, 10, 15, 20. One thing that, you know what fade? Looks fade. Guys with six packs get bare bellies. Looks fade. You know what doesn't fade? Loyalty, love, honor, respect, trust. Those things don't fade. So when we think that loyalty comes from beauty, that's the people that get cheated on all the time.
Yep.
And so Nia Long is a chick that her platform, not to her fault, but her platform has been to maintain her body, maintain her face, be a 60% kind of effective actress and just do her thing and get by on her looks. But that's how she did it. And for this guy who's on the road, he's flying in private jets everywhere. He sees groupies everywhere he goes. And he clearly has an issue with controlling himself. For lower tier guys, and I don't mean that disrespectfully, for a guy that works in the warehouse and he looks up to Nia Long, he would never cheat on Nia Long. For a celebrity, Nia Long is the chick that works in the warehouse.
Right.
And this is just as simple as that. But David, or it was either Bishop or David, they're right. Mac, I think you asked the question. If this is not Nia Long, if this is Shirley Jackson, this guy's not even suspended off of a team. It's a personal issue, and the coach is taking 2 weeks off to deal with his family issues, and he'll be back in 2 weeks.
Yeah, but once they came out with inappropriate language, and she pretty much like, okay, well, I need to save my marriage, so I'm gonna say that he coerced me into it. When I wanted to end it, he coerced me into a situation like, yo, you ain't going nowhere. You understand what I'm saying? You're gonna take this. You know what I'm saying? So,
because we all know that women are not responsible for who they sleep with. We all know that, right? Don't we know this on this live stream? Okay, I just want to be clear with that.
Yep,
it's an entanglement.
Absolutely,
it's an entanglement.
Yep, you're absolutely right, Hollow.
Never their fault.
Like it's like, oops, how'd you end up here?
Well, I mean, I asked a question years ago in a college class. I took a women's studies class, and I was there were two guys in the class, and one of them. And
you survived.
Yeah, so I actually got an A in the class, but this was.
So now you're a woman.
Yeah, I'm qualified to speak on it now. So, I asked the question because the question going around the topic was date rape, and they were talking about how the woman gets taken advantage of,
Right. Of
And
course.
I asked the question, which nobody could answer for me, is if you're telling me that alcohol alters your thought process and makes you more liable to do things that you wouldn't do if you were sober, then how come the man doesn't also get that benefit of he did something that he
Right,
would not have
right,
done if he
right,
was
right.
not
Can I
under the
answer
influence?
that? Can I answer that?
Yes.
It's the patriarchy.
Ah, well, there it is.
There it is.
Yeah, yeah.
Do we need to? I mean,
Right.
this is easily explainable.
It is, but I wanted them. I wanted them to tell me that they didn't. They couldn't say it, but we knew what it was. But they came up with all these reasons why she wasn't responsible, why she could make a mistake in judgment.
Yo, David.
And
One of my favorite memes that I've seen this year is a picture of Supergirl. I think Supergirl with a kryptonite necklace on, and she's like laying out on the floor. And somebody captions accountability on the kryptonite.
Oh shit! God damn.
No, that there it is. There it is, right there. Because she could wake up in the morning and say, "No, I didn't like it," and now he goes to jail. So
right, and you know what though, and that is here's what we create. You got to remember, we've created every single one of these months. We've created athlete worship. We've created celebrity worship.
Yep.
We've created give the women out, give the men in. Da, 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 da. We've created all the things that nobody on this line, to my knowledge, nobody on this line, at least overtly, where I can see it on the internet, nobody abides by a lack of self accountability. Right? Everybody on this line has made mistakes. Everybody has done something. And everybody is taking accountability. This is why when I deal with a lot of young boys, I break up a lot of stuff. Listen, God put me on this earth to raise young men in a different kind of way. And I make sure that I'm trying to keep them from shooting and stabbing and doing all that stuff. And one of the biggest things that happens is their accountability is everywhere but home.
Yes.
And you got to talk to them because the one thing that I realize in this world, if I cheat on my wife and I get busted, I'm going to tell you something. It ain't the chick. It ain't the alcohol. I don't smoke weed. I don't smoke cigarettes. I don't smoke cigars. I don't drink hard liquor. All I do is drink light beer. Speaking of, I may drink a bit much of light beer on sometimes, but that's all I do. I'm a person that's very in control of my actions and what I do. My sense of accountability determines that when I do something wrong in my life, the very first person that I take to court is me.
Yeah.
I never put blame on anybody before myself. And so what happens is we raise these women and they go, and this is not a woman bashing session, but we raise women to go, well, listen, Monica Lewinsky, if you're infatuated with the president and you go blow him 5 times under the desk, it's his fault because he's a man of power and he should have known that you as a legal adult, he should have known that you would be infatuated. Hey, listen, if this guy does that and he does whatever you came up, we know you had the lingerie on. We know that you lit the candles and everything, and we know you enjoyed the session. But if he said, hey, get the fuck out, everything that happened previous to get the fuck out, we know you can build a rape case just off of him saying, get the fuck out. And so what we did was we created a culture where there's no accountability. So women are free to roam around. And if men could do it, I would include both genders. So ladies that listen to the show, please don't take this the wrong way. But if women are free to roam around, enjoy the sex, get flued out for the sex, get the lobster, get the steak, get the red bottoms, get the rent paid, get the car note paid, and one day wake up and go, he raped me. And that dude, his ass is grass.
Yeah.
And as long as that is the culture, you're always going to have a coach like that. So you might as well hire him because we don't know if he's ever guilty or not. I'm to the point now where people accuse people. Sometimes I don't know what to even believe anymore because I don't think that a woman that gets violated gets on social media and twerks and then tell you who violated her. You know what I'm saying? So if we've taken away the accountability, and when the accountability goes, here we are talking about a coach that didn't break a law. Only thing he did is violate team policy, and maybe nobody on here but the public in itself and Me Too. Yo, Me Too, holler at me, Me Too, because Me Too tried to shut my show down, Matt. Yeah, they tried to shut my podcast 7 years ago. Yeah.
You're Moody. I want to tell you one day, this was a while ago, I was walking down the street with a hot dog stand, right? And can you believe somebody asked me for a Frank?
The nerve of that.
Yeah, like what?
Yep.
What do you think this is, man?
Did you give him the Frank because you could have been arrested for 90 years?
No, it's
I get it. I get it. Yo, I get it. Like so that's what we created. So that's the culture.
Yeah, it is.
It's the culture, and until we combat the culture, I don't know how many men are in jail for something they didn't do. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know how many women actually were raped by Diddy and people like that. I don't know how many that we disregarded and whatever. But we got a fucked up culture. And so I don't know, me as a person that loves basketball and all that stuff, it's really hard for me to not say, let's not take a good coach because he likes to bust nuts.
Can I say something? And it's probably going to be a little controversial, but whatever.
Go for it, Olive.
Because we haven't.
I can't believe we're even having this discussion, to be honest with you. Like, a man had sex outside of his marriage with a chick that he probably didn't even give a shit about. It's almost like punishing a dude for masturbating.
Yes.
But your wife wasn't there, so therefore you cheated. Like, oh, why are we even talking about this?
Right.
That's just.
They're not married.
Everybody got quiet on masturbation. If I had the air horn, I would have rang the air horn for masturbation or whatever. Whatever. I've been married for 27 years. I have no shame. Get out of here. Y'all stop playing. Don't judge me.
Right.
Yeah. First of all, the joy of it without your wife is the.
Right.
That's what I heard. That's where bliss. That's what I heard.
That's truly where bliss really derives from.
Here's the facts. Ime was engaged and that woman was married.
Right.
Yeah.
So she's the biggest.
She's the one.
She's the sinner.
Well, that's
Yeah, she's the one that you know. He just doing what dudes do. It's opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Opportunity. Like, I don't know how many dudes told me that they have a baby mama right now because her ass was fat and it was late at night.
Yeah. Ooh.
That's all it took.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. That's why I used to leave the club before 12.
And 21 years later.
Yeah, exactly.
And Ime was a former player, so
yeah.
And he wasn't a superstar. He was a end of the bench guy, but still,
that don't matter.
He was in the NBA traveling with all them other dudes. I'm sure he been smashing for years.
Yeah. And think about it. How many coaches are out there that's probably done a lot of the same stuff? So I mean, if we're using that as the bar, most of them wouldn't even get hired.
Right.
So, yeah, this is a non-story that they are blown up to be. But we all stated the reasons why this is blown up, so we all know it is what it is.
But I think in the sports world, it's blown up because of the team that may hire him and all the fuckery they already have going on. If he was getting ready to sign with, let's say,
Sacramento,
Minnesota, nobody would say a word. But because it's the Nets and they always got something else going on, that's why it's an issue.
Right. But you know what? I'm gonna add this to the mix of it though. it's the times, today's times, because years ago, if you're talking about 40, 50 years ago, there was a different relationship between the media and the athletes
Right.
and the teams.
Yes.
And there weren't that many outlets. Now everybody is grabbing for story after story. Who can get the biggest story and who can one up them on this and that. So that's what this has become.
Yes.
You know, it's there were guys that reporters used to travel with these teams 50 years ago, and
They
knew
still
all
do.
the dirt. Yeah, but they knew all the dirt, but they had that agreement and an understanding.
Right.
Now it's about, you've got, they still have newspapers, you got TV, you got magazines, you got the internet, you got podcasts, you got us here. There's all these
Camera
different
phones.
people, right? So everybody's got to have the bigger story and make something out of something to make themselves relevant.
Because you could listen to Sirius XM.
Yep.
The NBA shows that start at 7 and run till 7 at night. And you think they're all not saying the same story?
Right.
They're putting a different spin on it.
Yeah, with different
their little
personalities.
take on it.
Yeah, the different personalities.
And the story done changed 45 times from 7 in the morning to 7 at night.
Yep.
Because there's so many other people that wanted to be a part of the story. They knew more than Dave. They knew more than Moody. Because you don't know what the hell to believe no more. You just got to kind of tune yourself out and say, fuck it. It's just news.
Well,
It's
really
not
in
even
general,
news.
let me just say this last thing. I mean, you look at, I used to watch CNN a lot. I don't watch it as much anymore. But everything was breaking news. All day long, breaking news, but they're breaking the same thing. So it used to be when we were younger, we would watch our TV programs and they would interrupt this program.
Yeah,
with
bring you
news.
the following.
That was that, and you would sit there, oh, what happened? Nowadays, you watch these shows, breaking news is happening every 15 minutes. It's the same thing, it's just somebody else has a different take on it.
Right.
Yeah.
You remember the conversation we had not long ago, Dave, about newspapers?
Yeah.
And now who cares? You're getting shit sent to your phone every 5 minutes.
Exactly.
45 different stories about the same thing.
Now you turn it off the news.
You know what caused that, David, right?
What's that?
The big OJ and 9/11.
Yes. Yeah.
Because they made so much money off that 24-hour news cycle that they said, hey, let's use this permanently.
And careers were made off of OJ.
Right.
Geraldo owes his whole career to OJ.
Yeah.
After Geraldo found nothing in Al Capone's vault, he was a nobody. And then all of a sudden,
what happened after that?
The Kardashians too,
guys. What came after that? Next thing you know, we had breaking news, and then we had social media. Now everybody's a news reporter.
Everybody.
Us.
Yeah.
Everybody. Yeah, everybody is. You know what though? At the end of the day, this is why I believe in overexposure. Like for instance, in Mac, of course, when you say stop and move, then we can stop and move. But I'm just saying on this topic, Draymond duffing out young boy on the Warriors. I don't think cameras should be there because I'm an athlete. You know what? I played 4 different sports. I kickboxed and did jiu-jitsu and traveled the world fighting for goddamn 5 years, but I did the disciplines for 17, 18 years. And I'm going to tell you something. If you had cameras in there where we lost our temper, you know, it's really easy when somebody is hitting you to lose your temper. And so what happens is, if there had been cameras in there, you see guys purposely breaking each other's fingers, breaking toes, hyperextending knees and elbow on purpose because we're mad and we lost control of our emotion, and you got a bunch of savages tearing at each other. What happens is, I don't think that's for everybody. When the team, all we heard about the Bulls and all that, we never saw Michael duff out Steve. We never saw all of these fights. We didn't see Latrell choke out Carlissimo. I think that was his name. We didn't see that. We heard about it. And now, because there's a camera phone everywhere, we see it instantly, and we think we know more than the people doing what they're doing. I'm not an NBA player. I was never going to be an NBA player. You know, I played at the Rucker, I played at West Florida, but I was never going to be an NBA player. And one thing I could say, I don't know their emotions. I would imagine if you're the best athletes in the world, tempers flare. But if you really look inside the NBA or any sports, people, they scrap all the time. They have fights all the time.
You could be a you could be a weekend
sorry,
warrior
Bishop,
at the Y. You could be a weekend warrior at the Y, dude. You know, tempers flare. That's what happens in sports.
Right.
It just
that's
happens.
what
When you have a
happens.
bunch-
That's what
at the
happens
job,
in real life, Bishop.
at the job, you could be at the
Right.
job and somebody infringing on something. You know, you could be at the club and somebody infringing.
Imagine being away from home for
Right.
a year, and you're living in what we used to call a can.
A fucking hovel.
Yeah,
Yes.
and it's 155 degrees outside, and you're around the same people for a year. You're not only around them, you're dodging bullets, you're acting a fool.
Yes, sir.
Your fucking mind is gone crazy. You think there wasn't fights going on? There was times we had to check out uniforms to make sure we was on the same damn team.
Yeah.
And I don't mean no NBA team. That shit happens in real life, but there wasn't no cameras there.
Right.
You know,
and that's how we got, but Dom, isn't that how we moved past it? Because it's what happened then, and that was it there. Like there was no more, like, let's say, so me and Dom Square, we see each other every day. That's my brother. That's my man right there. But we get together and one day me and Dom have an argument over a 40 ounce or a beer or a bottle of water or something. And me and Dom have a fight and Dom break my jaw. It was settled there, it was done there, and we moved on. And so a year later, there's not a lot of memes of Dom punching me in my jaw because nobody ever saw it. It's just like we moved on and everything kept flowing smoothly. Now, we stay situated in everything that we can see. And so because we can see it all, there's real shit that's going on, excuse my French, there's real things that are going on that's really important and things like that. But we're on Kanye, we're on Kyrie, and for a podcast like ITP or for a hip hop website that talks about a rapper that died, that's their platform. They have to do that. You understand? Like when you got a job, you got to do your job. I mean, that's the job. But what Dom is talking about, we did it right there. Us. How many times? I know all of y'all didn't have a scrap. How many times have we all went in the backyard, settled that shit, and then went and got a slice of pizza or some shit like that? And nobody saw it.
It had gotten so bad, Moody, that people would come to me and say, these two soldiers had a fight. And the first thing I would say is, did the medics show up? If the medics didn't come, I didn't want to hear the shit.
Right.
That meant nobody was hurt. Let's move the fuck on.
Right.
Point blank. It's going to happen again tomorrow.
But I can tell you working in schools. So I've worked in schools for over 30 years now. And so I have seen it go from nobody knows about it, it happened, we heard it's a rumor, to everything being shared as soon as it happens on video.
Right.
And I remember, so let's just say a little bit over 10 years ago, the kids would get into a fight. They take it around the corner from the school, a couple blocks over. And I might hear about it the next day and say, oh, did you know so-and-so and this one had a fight? But there was no footage of it. There was nothing. It was all just hearsay. And you might see a kid come in the next day and he got a black eye. Nowadays, the fight is going on and you got 50 phones out.
Yeah,
and everybody. So now we just had a situation in my school yesterday. where these kids jumped another kid. I've got different angles of the fight, and we can identify who was in the fight because of the different camera angles. So it's just like watching the game where we say, well, let's look at it. You go to the replay. Well, let's look at it from this angle. Let's look at. We can see all that. But what happens is, but then it never ends. It doesn't end because then it gets shared around. So, when we were kids, if you got into a fight, and let's say you took the L that day, the only people that knew were the people that were there. Now, when they go back and tell the story gets changed around so much, and you can deny certain things. Nowadays, everything is right there. The footage is right there. There's no denying, so it doesn't end. And then people want to share it. Now you mad at this one. Now you mad at that one because they're talking about it. Oh, I saw you get your ass kicked. I saw. So they don't allow it to naturally run its course.
Yeah, but you got to think too. So the whole thing with the Draymond situation, he fed right into it, and it's just like this whole thing about I failed as a man, this and that. Negro, little young kid was talking shit, not knowing his place. You rolled up on him, you popped him in his mouth for talking reckless, and that's that. Know your place, know who you're talking to. That's that. Then, but now you want to get up there and talk about how you failed as a man and this.
Well, he's only doing that because we saw the footage and people.
Exactly.
But I'm saying, who cares? Like if Jordan Poole want to let that man roll up on him and catch him, it's like that's between him and Jordan Poole.
But that's the problem, Bishop. We're on the line 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 7 of us. We're talking real life. When the shit goes to phone and social media, it's not real life no more.
Right.
It's a story. TV. It's a click. It's a like. It's a follow. It's a retweet. It's not real life no more, Bishop. Me and you have a fight. You punch me in my face. We shake hands. No, now the shit's on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook.
They were like, I heard so many, like everybody all of a sudden became Jordan Poole's surrogate parent.
Yeah.
It was like, he could
also. Right. Also, Draymond needed to be arrested because that was assault.
Right.
Nah, that ain't no
assault. It's two men running their mouth, and it got physical. That's the way it's always been. Until social media and camera phones and stuff.
Yeah. And with that, fellas,
it's like Jordan Poole became the first person ever to get his ass kicked.
Right. And with that, fellas, I got to call it a night.
All right. Well, you held it down.
And we had
your partner there. Good show.
You missed the exposure. One story, the exposure.
Hey, Matt. I know you called me Matt. Did I make you? Hey, Matt, man. Hey, Dom. Hey, look, Bishop, David. Come on. Didn't I do good tonight?
You did. You barely cursed. Right? Okay, you can come back next time.
Thank you, man. Like I'm just
I was a little disappointed.
He cursed maybe he cursed under 10 times tonight. That's a record.
Oh yeah.
All I can say, Mac, is before we go, it was an honor to share the stage with Ronan because he always was typing. And remember, I used to say, "When are you gonna come on?" So, that was my bucket list tonight.
Yeah, we had a good group.
Yeah,
bend the knee.
Great discussion, brothers. I appreciate each and every one of y'all. I want to thank you. I want to thank people on my page. I want to thank people on the In the Paint page, on the Twitter page.
Let's not wait 2 more months.
YouTube page. Yep. You're right. Thank y'all for tuning in with us. This is In the Paint, the realest show in sports. I'm Max 611. My brother Angus Black, Big Brother R. He couldn't be here tonight, but my brothers held me down. So have a great weekend. Peace.
No doubt. Love you guys. One love, y'all. Be safe.
One love.